Shake the Ground podcast is brought to you by Amplify Podcast Studio. They don't just produce podcasts, they build podcasts designed to last. See amplify.ie. Welcome back to Shake the Ground. If you're new here, this podcast is all about conversations that leave you seeing life a little differently. The ones that challenge your beliefs, make you question something, instill hope or motivation, and give you the courage to make a change, to better your life in some way. Now, today's guest definitely is someone who did that for me when it comes to my journey with running. And I cannot wait for you to hear this conversation. I'm super excited about it. And now, if you're thinking, I'm not a runner, this episode isn't for me, stick with us because yes, we're going to talk about running, VO2 max and fitness, but this conversation is really about understanding your body, why cardiovascular training is important, why you might always feel exhausted, whether we're exercising in the smartest way, how to fuel ourselves properly, and whether we're actually chasing health or just trends. So whether you've never laced up a pair of runners or you've got a marathon in the diary, I think you will get something from this one. Seán Kinane. Seán Kinane. Am I pronouncing that?
You are, because people don't normally do it right.
Seán Kinane is the founder of Health Matters, a scientifically driven company established in 2011, specialising in fitness testing, performance enhancing and overall health related programmes. He helps everyone from complete beginners to elite athletes better understand their bodies through VO2 max testing, metabolic testing and some other assessments. But beyond the numbers, he's someone who's not afraid to challenge a lot of what we think we know about health, fitness and running. So I cannot wait to ask him a gazillion questions that I have prepared here. Before my marathons last year, so you may or may not know, I ran Chicago Marathon and then stupidly a week after I ran Amsterdam Marathon, and that was my ignorance to the beast that is 42.2 kilometers. But before that, I did a VO2 max test and metabolic test with Seán. Now, if you're wondering what the hell these are or what I'm talking about, well, we're going to dive into all of that now. But let me tell you, it drastically changed how I trained and fueled. Like, seriously, that would actually be an understatement to say how much it changed my training approach and my fueling approach. So we are going to dive into it all today. Please welcome Seán Kinane, aka the VO2 Max fella, to Shake the Ground.
Thank you.
How you doing?
What an intro. I have a lot to live up to.
Quite a long one, but I wanted to give the background there, you know. Sure. So Seán, first of all, maybe tell us a little bit about Health Matters, how it started, why you got into it.
It started, so the VO2 fella is something that's only come in recently, but
I was searching for you on Instagram recently. I was like, I can't find Health Matters.
Yeah, so the VO2 fella, people call me the VO2 fella. So
love that.
For years I've been known as the VO2 fella. I ran the Dublin Marathon 2 years ago and I had the name on my back, the VO2 fella. So when we were trying to slightly change my brand over the last couple of weeks, we said we better go with a more personal approach. So the VO2 fella was created. But Health Matters started back in, realistically, 2009 when I was in Australia.
Well before 2011.
Yeah. So Ireland, 2011. So 6th of April 2011 was our first day of business in Ireland.
6th of April. Yeah. That's my sister's birthday. What are the chances?
6th of April 2011. But I was a lift engineer. So I was working in Ireland, electrician and a lift engineer. And I was travelling the world and I didn't want to work in a lift shaft. So I became a personal trainer in Ireland before I left. I went to Australia, travelled through South America, different aspects of travel, and settled in Perth, got a job in a gym and started to work in a gym as a PT. And one of the people in the gym had this equipment and he was analysing metabolic function or metabolisms. And then the other side, he was doing a bit of VO2 testing. I started to put clients through him. Then I started to work directly with him. And I was thinking, okay, this is something that's really kind of caught me. I'm really interested. You can really make such an impact in people's lives. I did a lot of study over there and then I left and went travelling through South Asia and then came back to Ireland 2010, December, just before Christmas. Yeah. And I sat down with my dad and my uncle in January 2011 and I'd seen loads of different business ideas throughout the world because we'd travelled for about 2.5 years and we ran with this idea. And 15 plus years later, here I am, 25,000 tests later, the most active tester in the world.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've seen it all, done it all, and I love it every day.
I think it's absolutely incredible how much your business has, I suppose, built up and taken off. But more than that, affected so many lives in a positive way over the last few years. And I'm sure you couldn't even imagine how much running was going to take off between when you started and now, because it is like the trendiest form of movement going right now.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing what it's doing, and it's amazing the impact we get to make. Down to
Yeah.
the point where we do, like, there's stories I can tell you about. Recently enough, we've stopped a couple of tests which have led to people getting heart operations, and the doctor said, like, he saved your life, like, unquestionable. We can fall back onto that.
I definitely want to go into that,
Yeah.
but let's just go back a few steps, because I couldn't even explain what these things are. So for people who are listening going, what in the name of God is a VO2 max test? And then secondary to that, a metabolic test, or like, what is metabolic functioning? Can you break those terms down in like without the jargon so we really
Yes,
understand
I'll
it?
try. So VO2 stands for volume of oxygen.
Okay.
It's measuring how much oxygen you consume per kilogram of body mass, which is averaged over 1 minute. That's the basics of that. But what does it mean?
Yeah.
It's the most important, or it is your gold standard fitness measurement worldwide. So it's comparable, it's repeatable, it's measurable. So you test in Ireland, France, Germany, Australia, you're comparable against it all. So you're graded in it.
So that's a pretty big statement. The gold standard worldwide for testing your fitness.
Yeah.
VO2 max. Would you say and your longevity? Or did I dream that?
So this is where you look at it from two perspectives. So
Okay.
VO2 max would have been traditionally available to athletes, elite athletes, universities, hospitals, very time consuming, very expensive. But now the same accurate analysis has been brought to people in Ireland by me for 15 years and many others that are now starting to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely without question it would have been as a sole fitness measurement. Now there's been a shift.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the last 5 years I've noticed a lot more kind of older, I won't say athletes, but older people coming in just to get a test done, because now they're saying is the single stronger dictator or indicator of life longevity. So
that's incredible.
I did a reel yesterday on this. We were testing all weekend in Cork, and I was so surprised. We had a couple of people in looking to break sub 3-hour marathon, and we had a couple of people in their 70s that train in the gym that they're in that just wanted to get a baseline measurement.
I'd love to get my parents in to do this. And obviously you must see, well, you were telling me just before we start recording that they've actually brought in like different numbers for people in their 70s and 80s now that do the test.
Yeah, so for our scales, they always stopped at 60s.
Okay.
So the age 60 plus.
Yeah.
Now there's categories for 70 plus and 80 plus.
So prior to that, what would you have done if you had someone coming in who was 70?
It was just 60 plus.
So it was just in 60.
So the
plus,
age
right,
group
okay.
or the category that a 72-year-old come into would be 72.
Okay.
Or sorry, 60 plus. But what this is, so this is a number. So
I was just going to say, let's break down these. What do we mean by categories?
So there's categories that go from very low, low, poor, good, excellent, superior.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So they're the categories that you fall into. Now, if you come in and score very low and you get your score to low, you add 5 years onto your life.
Stop it.
So if you look at VO2, it's a complete measurement of all physiological performance markers. So basically VO2 is oxygen utilization, but then it's a measurement on the heart pumping that blood, the oxygenated blood to the working muscles.
Yeah.
So we look at your heart as well. So if we know someone has a good VO2 max, there's a high possibility they train regularly.
Yeah.
There's a high possibility their weight is in range.
Mm-hmm.
There's a high possibility they have a really good heart.
Okay.
There's a high possibility they have a really good set of lungs. So if we look at all the things that can kill us, a lot of the things or mortality links are going to be cardiovascular.
Yeah.
So if we know that if we can decrease risk all-cause mortality by exercising, it's going to correlate with having a higher VO2. So we can link, and all the studies show, the higher the VO2, the lower risk of all-cause mortality. The lower the VO2,
So we should all be chasing.
you should all be chasing. Indirectly, we can measure it by measuring your VO2.
So this
We
is
should all
where
be chasing
I get
exercise.
this is where I get a bit frustrated with like the medical world. So I'm like, if someone goes into the doctors and they're unwell, okay, and now obviously there's so many other kind of aspects to health where you could be affected, but why doesn't a doctor say, let's go get your VO2 max tested and see if we can improve that, because that could technically add 5-10 years onto your life.
It is. It's now the scales, when you go from very low to low, that's 5 years. It doesn't keep going in scales for 5 years.
Yeah.
But I remember October 24, the guy came in to me. He was 115 kilos. He just welcomed his first child. He did no exercise. He came in and he scored very low. So he scored whatever it was, a sub 20 VO2 max. For him, his category very low. And he said to me he wanted to change his life. And to the day, the 25th of over 25, he came back to me. And I remember because it was his brother's birthday. And he scored superiorly. Now, he'd done 4 tests with me over the year. And each time he moved his category.
Sorry, in 1 year?
In 1 year. Now, he's come from very, very low, though. He had done no exercise.
But you get to superior.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, he dropped astronomical amounts of body weight.
Okay.
So he came in at 115 kilos. I think his last test was maybe 90 kilos.
And do you mind me asking, was this recently?
24, October 24.
So you can absolutely say no comment or pass this question. I can't help but think when I hear of dramatic weight loss in a year, was that just nutrition and exercise?
Nutrition,
or was
exercise.
there any
But he
of the new
did,
jabs?
no, because he worked with us.
I love
Like,
hearing that.
when we say it was drastic weight loss, it's probably 4 stone over a year.
Yeah.
He had a very poor lifestyle. His food was very, very poor. And he said to me he just wanted to be there for his child, his daughter. And he has probably added 15 years onto his life.
Yeah.
By just creating, now weight loss has obviously helped.
Of course,
but
yeah.
he's created a continuous exercise regime where he will now train forever. And if your heart is healthy and if your heart functions, you have a very good chance of surviving very long periods of time.
I love that, Seán. I think when it comes to our health and longevity and wanting to live longer for our children or whatever it may be, no one really brings up the topic of heart health. It's always just how to look a certain way, and people don't really care about how they get there. And I think we spoke about this when I was in doing a test with you before. Like, I get so frustrated by the fitness industry because people chase aesthetics and not the science of what's really going to make them healthier and live longer. All they chase is what's going to make them look better when it could be doing more damage than good to their muscle mass sometimes, or their bone mass. Saying that from someone who's been there and probably gone about a lifestyle change the wrong way to begin with, when I was losing bone density because I wasn't fueling enough for the exercise I was doing. So I love that in your work from the get-go as a personal trainer that moved into this, you've always been about health from the inside out.
Yeah, and it's like we work in this 3-story gym in West Park Fitness.
Yes, I've been there.
The lads that look in incredible shape get the lift up 1 flight of stairs.
It's funny, isn't it?
It's sad, it's scary, it's wrong. It blows my mind. And slowly but surely they come around to the fact that, like, anyone that will want to talk to me about any aspect of it, I'll be like, look, let's just get some steps. If we're looking at longevity, so we look at, when we do VO2 testing, we can identify what's called a threshold. The threshold is where we go from an efficient energy system to an inefficient energy system. And if anybody can do 90 minutes a week below anaerobic threshold, or if anyone can do 90 minutes a week aerobic, it means that basically you can talk when you're doing that exercise. It's been proven to decrease risk all-cause mortality by about 18%. So every single thing in the world that could kill you is going to reduce by about 18% by training for 90 minutes a week at low intensity. This is the reel I done the other day. This is what I was speaking about. We all put walls up to say, I don't have time, I need to look after the kids, I need to look after my parents, I need to look after that. But if you as the individual isn't able to function to the best of your ability because you're fatigued, because you're sick, because you have an illness, you're not going to be there for them when they need you most. So prioritising 90 minutes a week, and that's all we're asking, minimum. The minimum session is 30 minutes. So 3:30s, 2:45s, a 60 and a 30. At low intensity, that's going to improve your heart health.
So we're talking maybe, depending on the person's fitness levels, a 30-minute walk 3 times a week, a 30-minute jog 3 times a week, short hike, short cycle.
Rowing.
That much.
Whatever
and
you want.
When people think about wanting to improve their health for those around them, I feel like often people around the individual, especially in Ireland, can be quite judgmental towards someone taking on a fitness journey or a change like that. And there is a shift, a definitely positive shift happening. But I think sometimes it can be like, you don't need to go out. Like, would you not come out with us? Would you not come on down to the pub for a drink? You're not going running again, are you? When really that time is like a health appointment. It's like going to your doctor. I know I'm going for my 30-minute jog. I love that. I love that.
Way better than going to your doctor.
So, Seán, when you say aerobic training, you say 90 minutes a week, low intensity. Is that essentially zone 2?
So, zone 2, there's a bit of a buzz around zone 2.
Yeah.
We have to be really clear about what zone 2
is. For those who are like, what did she just say zone 2 for? Maybe we'll...
Yeah, well, I'll tie in because I've spoken about aerobic and anaerobic. We'll briefly cover them. So aerobic and anaerobic are the name of your energy systems. Aerobic means we're creating energy really efficiently. We're using high levels of oxygen. Bioproductivity is relatively low. When the body's ability to create energy or the need for energy creation goes up, we can't do it aerobically, we become anaerobic. It's just a change of state of energy creation and it becomes inefficient. So you start to ventilate more, you create byproduct and the exercise is unsustainable. When we train by zones puts us into the energy systems. So zone 1, zone 2, traditionally aerobic. Zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, traditionally anaerobic.
Zone 3 is
Sorry,
traditionally...
I said it wrong. Zone 1 and 2, traditionally aerobic.
Yeah.
Zone 3 and 4, traditionally anaerobic.
Okay.
But now the world has gone to 5 zones.
Yeah.
So zone 1 and zone 2, aerobic.
Yeah.
Some of zone 3, aerobic.
Makes sense. Yeah, have you?
Some of zone 3 can be anaerobic,
Yeah.
4 and 5.
Everyone's individual that way.
Everyone's individual. So when we do VO2 testing, yes, we'll look at your VO2 max as a marker of health and longevity and fitness. We look at your heart rate elevation to make sure that it elevates okay and it recovers okay. But we'll be able to identify all your training zones.
Yeah.
So you come into me, and one of the big statements you make, or we've spoke off air,
Yeah.
about people that are unwilling to stay in their aerobic
Yeah.
zone because they find it boring. Ego gets it. Yeah, ego gets in the way. Social media, society pressures. But when you train at an aerobic or below threshold, or you train aerobically, you increase the stroke volume of your heart. You strengthen your heart muscles. You develop better
Can you
mitochondria.
define stroke volume for me?
The content of oxygenated blood that leaves the heart in one beat.
Which is what we want to increase.
Yeah, so we increase the cardiac output, basically, how well your heart, we realign the strength of your heart. It's like the foundation building. We develop better mitochondria, which is the energy powerhouse of the cell. We create better oxidative tissue, which helps us mop up byproduct at higher intensities. We create a better utilization of fat. So your body becomes more metabolic efficient. So we're not creating and utilizing carbohydrate at such a high level.
Like,
it's low stress.
when you list out all of this,
it's
I'm
low
like,
impact. It's
why are we not all doing?
because society, social media, and ego
Yeah.
get in the way. Now, don't get me wrong. From a perspective of training diligently for an event and you have to train hard, that's fine. We get that, and you do absolutely. There isn't only aerobic conditioning needed. We need anaerobic conditioning, but the balance is wrong
Yeah.
for a lot of people.
And I feel like that imbalance has just spiraled over the last maybe 3 years on social media, in my opinion. Or would you think so?
But like the likes of the hybrid style training
Yeah.
events demand a lot. But I think people forget that they're not professional athletes. Like I had a guy last week who has 3 kids, full-time job, and does 14 hours a week training. And can't understand why he's fatigued, and can't understand why he's in erection problems, and can't understand why he's stressed, and can't understand why he's irritable and brain fog.
And why are people like him feeling the need to train for 14 hours a week?
Because he's set himself a goal that he wants to achieve. He's got caught up in the persona of what he needs to do.
Yeah.
When realistically, the training that he was doing isn't complimenting him anymore.
No. Like, that kind of upsets me, because I feel like if you are at that stage of your life training that hard, it's actually doing you a disservice. Where is that spiral going to lead to? Do you know what I mean? Like,
It's
that
an
exercise...
addiction thing as well. They're addicted to the high.
Yeah.
But it's not even a sad thing about it, was this guy had a great aerobic capacity.
Mm.
I wasn't getting him to walk. I was just getting him to slow down
Yeah.
for multiple times in a week. So the best athletes turn up every single day. And if I can make you turn up every single day by slowing you down every second day,
Yeah.
it's going to leave you to adaptate better. So fitness doesn't happen when you're training hard. Fitness happens when you're recovering, adaptating, growing. So when
Yeah.
you're at the lower intensities. But the stimulation is needed. But we need both.
Yeah.
We need to train high, we need to recover low. Recover low allows us to train high. If we recover high, we can't train high. So everything gets done around a 6 or a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
When realistically, you should be doing 3s and 4s out of 10s, 8 and 9s out of 10s.
Yeah.
Now, goal specific, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody is different. But I think people think that they just have to go out and really hurt themselves in regards
They do.
to physically drain themselves
Yeah.
to get any benefit in exercise. When realistically, if you're someone that's not exercising, all you need to do is start. Anything, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, build it up, walking, and then find something that you enjoy.
I wish we could just get that message out to people that, like, you know, low intensity exercise is more than enough for your health, and it is actually so beneficial. And in this era of really fast runners and high rocks and trica, and I'm not dissing any of that because I'm dying to try out a high rocks and a trica. I do running. It just makes me worry about the relationship people are forming with exercise and the lack of understanding. It's like the link between exercise and actual health has been disconnected for so many people.
Yeah, I think that's a great statement. And the simplest analogy, though, that might resonate: if you need a big pyramid, you need a wide base.
Yeah.
Or I always talk about a foundation. If your foundation isn't solid, your house falls down.
I remember sitting with you up in Dublin when we did our test
Yeah.
and you were telling us that, and I was like, right, zone 2. I need to do more
So
zone 2.
that's where, if you're talking about starting off in sport, or if you want to create a bigger journey, you want to get fitter, you want to get stronger, you need to keep realigning your foundation.
Yeah.
And if you don't do the work to make your foundation strong, you will fall apart.
Yeah.
Is that an injury? Is it a mental stress? Is it a fatigue? Is it a stress fracture? Is it? There can be so many, lowered immunity.
Oh,
we can just list
yeah.
them all that are associated with it.
And then like nutrition comes into play.
True,
I
yeah,
literally have
we
a
didn't
million
touch that,
questions that
yeah.
I want to dive into here, and I don't know where to start. Sean, I want to go back a few steps, right? So we're getting ahead of ourselves here. The VO2 max test itself.
Yeah.
Let's go back there. So now people, I hope, understand the importance of it, what it can teach us. I want to go back to heart rate zones and dive into that more when it comes to exercise. But the test itself, what does that entail for anyone who's never come across it before?
So you have a choice. You can do it as a run test, a treadmill. You can do it as a bike test. So you can use your own bike or a stationary bike, or we can do a row test. Anyone that is incapable of doing any of them tests, we do hand bike tests with wheelchair users.
Yeah.
And we've even done ski erg tests with wheelchair users, those that are now hybrid athletes doing the likes of Trika and High Rocks.
Wow.
But basically, it's a progressive overload. So
Okay.
you'll have a mask on your face, you'll have a heart rate monitor on. We will pre-screen you, height, weight, we'll get an understanding of your profile, list through any medication, illnesses, ailments, and we will get you ready to go. First 90 seconds, there's no movement. We're detecting resting heart rate and breathing patterns, and then it's a progressive overload. But the most important thing to note here is that progressive overload is specific to you.
Okay.
You are not required to do something that a 4-hour marathon runner will do,
Yeah.
a 3-hour marathon runner will do. And one of the big things people make the mistake is that they think they're incapable of doing the test because it's for those that are elite.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest mistake you make. We had a 68-year-old woman in on Saturday who did an incline walking test. She thought it was the best thing ever. She scored an excellent result. She got her heart screened. She was delighted. She had a good recovery. She left the place absolutely buzzing. But she said she's going to come back and get superior. We've had, obviously, anyone that wants to do the test at any level, we can do it with. We've worked on clinical trials on obese pregnant women in the Coombe Hospital using VO2 analysis. You know, so it's applicable to anybody as long as you can walk or cycle or row at whatever intensity that you want to carry out the activity at. And we'll make sure, we're so long in the game now that every single test we'll make sure that the person is taken to within their capabilities, but also pushed to what their
maximum
is of achieving in a safe way.
Yeah, in a safe way. I love that. I was definitely one of those people who had this misconception that I couldn't go to do a VO2 max test unless I felt like I was at my best level of fitness, because this was something that you would only see Olympians going to do. And I guess it's just because that's the only content I came across. But thanks to you, I see so much more of that, so many different ages. And I hope I can inspire anyone listening that might be in their 50s, 60s, or that has family in their 50s, 60s, 70s to go and do a test like this. Because I think with some of my relatives, the initial thought would be, that's a bit scary. It's not a comfortable environment for me. I don't like pushing my body that hard. Do you get that a lot from older people?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's also, and I love being not the bearer of bad news, but I'm incredibly honest.
Yeah.
And if somebody is coming in and scoring very low, I'm going to tell them that they
You
need
can't
to
sugarcoat
change.
that.
No, you can't. But you also can't sugar weight as well. We had a guy in last week and he was over 100 kilos and he's trying to achieve various different things in sport. And I was like, man, you need to lose weight. He's like, well, no, I don't. I was like, no, you do. Like, you need to lose weight for this reason, this reason, this reason. But if you're coming in and you're scoring very, very low in a VO2 max,
Yeah.
your risk of mortality is significantly higher than what it should be. And we don't want to direct it or scare people, but the point you were saying there that you want to get it tested at the peak fitness, I think that's where people make the mistake.
Yes, yeah.
I want to
I'll wait until I'm at my fittest.
to walk out the door and go, brilliant.
Yeah.
I scored really well. When realistically, the score is only one aspect of your test. We're going to learn everything about your fueling requirements, your draining zones, your heart rate elevation, and what we need to do at any stage when you come into us to make you get to the level that you want to get to quicker. So you work with your body rather than against it.
I love that. I guess it's like you don't wait until you're at your healthiest to go into the doctor.
No, precisely.
So you shouldn't wait until you're at your fittest to go and get a VO2 max
Gonna
test.
rub that.
Yeah, rob away. I had so many questions here and I haven't even got to any of them because our conversation has just taken off and I love that. I wanted to ask you, What is the lowest VO2 max score you've ever come across? And then what's the highest? But also to give people like that idea of the range that exists within the scale of VO2 max results.
I don't have enough.
Right, so in front of us here, we actually have my results, guys, from when I did a VO2 max test with Seán. That was it last September? I'm not sure the date is on it, Seán. It was definitely before the marathons, which were in October, so it could have even been.
You tested on the 18th of August at 1:16 p.m.
Oh my God, and I'll never forget, you had to be fasted. And I was like an antichrist because I'm like, usually have my breakfast so early and I'm on to lunch at that stage.
So category wise, sorry to go back to that.
Yeah.
If I should probably get the categories for you. But your ranges have changed. So the latest publication of the American College of Sports Medicine have changed these categories now. It's age and gender categorized.
Ah, okay.
So the first age is 13 to 19 and we go all the way up now to 80 to 89. So every 10 years, it's different categories.
Let's just say, could you give me what might be a roughly good score for a woman mid-20s and a male mid-20s?
What I want them to get or what's considered good on a category. So like the categories
is that not
now,
the same thing?
It is indirectly, I suppose. What I want them to get is different. The categories are slightly different. So the highest goal now is a 20 to 29-year-old male. They're the highest categories that are considered to be superior.
Okay.
So for a 20 to 29-year-old male to score superiorly, they need to get over a 63.5 VO2 max. Like it's tough. Like it is unquestionably tough. For years, I felt the scales were quite generous.
Yes.
And we'd have people come in and they wouldn't necessarily be the best athlete, but they would be categorized as superior. And I'd be like, there's so many other parameters that make a fitness profile, but I'd be like, okay, you've obviously a sporting background, genetics plays a role, you used to do a lot of sport. A female in her 20s, you want to be getting over 40.
A female in her 20s over 40.
Like to get superior now for a female 20 to 29, you need to get over 46.5.
And this might be a little bit specific, but I'm going off kind of listenership ages that we have. If I was to bring that up to mid-30s, does it change much?
Yeah, slightly. So to get into a category range, mid-30s, you're looking at to get over a 41 to get superior.
Okay.
Over 37, 38 to be considered excellent.
Sorry, guys, I'm still superior. What did we get on? 51.8. But you know
She
what?
is still superior.
Like the thing is, you're never happy because I came out and I was like delighted, but then I started looking up things in other people's results and I was like, oh, I could have done a few seconds more. So just to give you the visualization, guys, we went up, we did this in West Park
Fitness, yeah.
I was going to say West Side. West Park Fitness up in Dublin. You're on the treadmill, you have a big mask on. You're hooked up to the machine. Seán is beside you, coaching it on, telling you not to quit. You're well able, but also gave me pre-warning that when everyone says they're done, they can't do any more, the second the mask comes off, they wish they had it done a few seconds more. It's such a crazy feeling. The test in its entirety was probably, was it 15 minutes or something? 15 minutes, because you start off, like you said, stationary, you start going faster. And what happens is the speed of the treadmill goes up alongside the incline, which is going up as well, until you are literally at your wit's end and you're like, I can't do any more. And it's only 15 minutes. But so I want to, I suppose, I don't want to centre this around my test, but obviously I have so much knowledge from that. I want you to explain the secondary element that we did up there, which was the metabolic testing. And then maybe we can go back and link in how I use the two.
Let me answer the question on the highest score and lowest score.
Sorry, go on.
Lowest score ever done was a 14.3. It was bad. It's really bad. We do a lot of corporate wellness, where we go on site into companies and carry out testing. And a lot of times the company pays for the testing, so people are a lot more willing to sign up to it. And this fella got a 14.3.
Do you know what? I feel like we're living in a day and age where everyone, like you said, wants to be an athlete, like a professional athlete, or they're training like a professional athlete. That when you hear a figure like that, you kind of think, God, I'm not doing so bad. I'm sure the majority of people listening are going.
But things like that for me, when I see scores like that,
it's frightening.
It is. It's a real blunt and hard conversation to have. That he needs. It was a he. He needs to change his life.
So you're basically saying, like, listen, you've got a VO2 max score of 14.3, was it?
14.3.
You're cutting your life by a serious amount of years.
He was massively overweight. His heart, for the effort that we were doing, the rate at which it increased was alarming. His recovery was very poor. He needs to change his life. Walking out that door that day.
And did he? Did you stay in touch?
I've never seen him since. We've been in the facility. I didn't hear anything about it, but a lot of times when you make these changes, you make these efforts with people, they will try and avoid you.
Yeah.
You know, the highest I've ever seen, an 89.3. He runs a 14-minute 5K.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
89.
So the highest in the world's a 96. Now there's
Oh my
questions.
God, I never knew any of this. Hold on, what age was the guy that got 89?
No, 31, 32.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now he was lean, runner, 6 foot, 60 kilos,
Oh
built
my
to
God.
run.
6 foot, 60
Something
kilos.
like that, 62 kilos, something like that.
Jesus.
But
That's
so the highest in
insane.
the world's 96. There is question marks that there's been a new record break of over 100. There's other aspects of testing parameters that I don't think match up when you look at the data, when you know
Okay.
the data.
Yeah.
But 96 I know is definitely confirmed. So 89.4, yeah. I know I've done 25,000 tests. I've tested 15 years. I've probably can count on one hand the amount of people I've done in the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is astonishing.
Now we've done astronomical amounts of people in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
But when you get 80s, I had a young cyclist in last year actually who is being looked at by all the big cycling teams. And he scored an 85 or an 86 on his own bike, pushing 500, 600 watts.
Oh my
like
God.
astronomical power.
The inner competitiveness in me is like, let me back on that treadmill now.
It's context. It's context.
If I even make 52, I'll be doing well. So then, can I go back to, I think we've answered most of the questions surrounding VO2 max, why it's important, what it is, and the categories people can land themselves into.
Mm-hmm.
When I was up with you, we also did a metabolic test.
Yeah.
Metabolism, metabolic functioning, why it's important. Can you explain this a little bit?
So we do, main two tests we do is metabolic and VO2. Metabolic test is a 98% accurate measurement on energy expenditure. So it's done through a little test called indirect calorimetry. So in order for you or me to burn a calorie, we must consume 0.8 of a milliliter of oxygen. So it's a little test, breathe through a small valve, you block your nose with a nose clip, and it will give us how much energy or calories you burn in a day. So that's your resting metabolic rate.
Yeah.
We'll give you a predicted value for professional activity because we will ask you about your job, your movement, and then it will give you a predicted value for exercise calories.
Yeah.
However, the VO2 will give us your real in-depth exercise calories. So if you're doing the double, we don't necessarily need it.
Yeah.
We use metabolic testing for those that are looking to understand energy requirements, those that are looking to gain weight, lose weight, or fuel their performance. It's not in that.
Yeah. Sorry. This effective fat burn, was that anything to do with it?
So that's in the VO2.
Okay. So I'm looking at my results in front of me here, guys, and I had one sheet which was effective fat burn. And this now might be a little bit complicated, but I thought this came from the metabolic testing.
No, so
but it didn't.
I'll go through it. So I don't need it.
He doesn't need the numbers.
So within a VO2 test, we'll go back to the metabolic stuff in a minute. So VO2 test will give us VO2 score, peak heart rate elevation, heart rate recovery, 5 training zones, 2 thresholds, calorie expenditure to match your exercise. So this is important. So for anyone that's
Doesn't give you that much, really, does it?
for anyone that's doing an endurance event, or anyone that's training to perform, you burn energy when you exercise.
Yeah.
Now, standard human physiology will show you that the lower the intensity, the more fat you burn, the higher the intensity, the more carbohydrate you burn.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you will have athletes that come in that are super efficient and they burn fat for really long periods of time.
Is that because they have done so much training in zone 2?
Exactly. So remember I spoke about one of the benefits of training low is you become more metabolic flexible. You become metabolically more adapted to utilize fat as fuel.
So that is a statement I think we need to reiterate here, because we're flying through so much really useful information. I want people to rewind and listen again. But just in this era of high intensity training and competitions that is going absolutely nowhere, a lot of people are doing it because, yes, they want to perform, but also they want to look a certain way. There's two sides of that coin. And all of the training for High Rocks and Trica that I see, all of the classes that I see put together, they're all high intensity. Everyone comes out literally unable to breathe, dying of death, sweat dripping off them. And that's what they want. That's what they love. But then they're like, I can't lose this stubborn bit of fat. And look, I'm the number one person to say it's not all about the aesthetics, it's about the performance, it's about your health. But guys, zone 2 is going to be the way to go to get more of that in.
Well, if you look at all your physique models,
yeah.
So there's a fella in my gym that he trains physique models. All his physique models do low intensity cardio.
Yeah. These are the bodybuilding guys. Yeah.
But this now opens up a whole different conversation where we're looking at it from a fueling perspective, and that's the route I thought you were going.
Sorry, that's the route I meant to go, but I got distracted there.
It's all right. The carb utilization. So
Yeah.
the harder you work, the more carbohydrate you're going to burn. The simplest analogy for anyone listening to this now, and I say it over and over and over and over again, is you can't drive a car with no petrol. So if you want to drive your car further and faster, you need more petrol. So if you want to drive your car in second gear at a really slow pace and you're happy to go along with no real speed increases, you can get by on utilising fat as a fuel. But if you expect to turn up to a training session having worked all day, young family, probably out coaching or farming or whatever you're doing, and then you're going up to do a trika or a high rock session or an interval session or a spin session or a Muay Thai session or an MMA session or whatever you want to do at high intensity, and you're aiming to do that without carbohydrate, you are performing with an anchor on, you're performing with a parachute on, you are driving your car with poor levels of petrol. This is the simplest thing you will ever do to change the quality of your training, is learn to utilise carbohydrate pre-exercise. So carbohydrate, any dentists out there, I know it's bad, and health nutrition and sports nutrition are not the same thing.
Yeah.
They're my two disclaimers.
Yeah.
But apple juice, orange juice, Energize, Lucozade, jam, honey, white
Before a
bagels,
session.
jam.
Yeah.
Learn to embrace simple carbohydrate, cereals. You will perform significantly better. Now, not only will you perform better, you recover better. You recover better, everything else around you recovers better. How many times people go home, they're unable to function, they can't get off the couch, they're irritable, they're snapping at their kids, snapping at their partner, they've no energy, there's brain fog, there's irritability, they lose their cycle, we'll come on to that. You suffer reds, there's sex drive issues, libido problems, and all of a sudden you strip it all back and it's because you're simply overtrained and underfueled.
Yeah.
You need to take responsibility to fuel. If you're training in the evening, having a banana at 1 o'clock is not going to cut it.
And if you are too afraid to fuel with as many carbohydrates as you may need, which I feel like a lot of women are, because I was that woman, now is not the time to be signing up for a marathon.
No, absolutely not. And you should never lose weight to training for a marathon.
No, I gained weight during training.
Good.
From the time I was with you.
That's music to my ears. Now, look, I'm not saying you're not going to lose weight, but your priority shouldn't be losing weight in a marathon.
You
because
cannot be in a deficit, so you're asking for an injury.
I think an easy thing to do is, if we're looking at Nathalie's results here, and if we look at when her heart rate was at 178 beats, she was burning 516 calories from carbohydrate and 132 calories from fat. So collectively, she was burning over 650, or let's say 650 calories.
Yeah.
So when we talk about people replenishing fuel when they're doing a marathon, we talk about intra-race fueling, we would ask them to take a third of what they're burning. So if you're burning 600 calories from carbohydrate, I'd ask you to take 200 back on, which is 75 grams of carbohydrate, which, depending on your brand, is going to range between 1, 2 or 3 gels an hour. And people stress out and go, I couldn't take that in, I'll gain weight. But I always bring it back and go, well, you're burning 6 gels an hour. I'm only asking you to take 2 on. If you know how to do maths, Come on, Seán. If you know how to do maths, simple mathematical equations is weight management. So although there's millions of contributing factors from hormones and macronutrients and vitamins and minerals, and we get that. I'm not saying they don't play a role. 100% they do. But if you're concerned that me getting you to fuel better for a run is going to influence your weight, it's wrong. I'm going to make you perform better. I'm going to make you feel better. We're going to make you turn up. We're going to make you more consistent. We're going to make you not come home and eat everything in sight because you're so hungry. That's one of the big problems. Because people's carbohydrate requirement drops off. And remember, your brain fuels off carbohydrate. So if you are someone that suffers a lot of brain fog, irritability and fatigue, it's time to look at your carbohydrate load.
I feel like this was my biggest learning when I came to you. And training for that first marathon of mine, and I share this because I feel like it might be relatable for some people, even if you're training for your first, 10K half marathon, whatever it might be. You really helped me to understand, as someone who's done nutritional and health coaching, didn't do nutritional therapy, which I think you did.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, but that course, which was a year long, was for the average individual who doesn't do marathons or high-end sport. It wasn't sports nutrition, it was kind of everyday nutrition. So that's what I had learned, that's all I knew. So for me to step into this area of having as many carbs as you were telling me to have was a bit unsettling, but I had gone through enough recovery time from my eating disorder over the years, and was at this point where I was like, no, like, you know, we go to see professionals for a reason. I knew how important it was to get enough carbs in. So I keep a regular menstrual cycle because I had lost mine for 5 or 6 years. I got it back in 2021. Was that when we had COVID? Yeah. And I was like, I'm never going back. I'm never going back. But it was actually scary to take in the carbs that I was taking in. I did it, but it's such...
How did you feel?
I felt equally empowered and uneasy. And I think that's because if you're someone who's ever struggled with an eating disorder, I don't say this in a heavy negative way, you know, or severe disordered eating. There's always a part of your brain that goes a bit like, oh, like, you know, kind of little alarm bells, like I'm having like literally the biggest bowl of Frosties dosed with honey.
Frosties for the win.
In the like in the morning. Like that's not something I ever would have done. I'm having 3 or 4 gels on my run. I'm coming back and I'm having another big meal. Like that was, I suppose.
How did you feel physically?
Yeah. So that was the mental side of it. But the more the weeks went on, I felt like I can't believe I've spent so many years not experiencing this level of energy, not experiencing this level of performance, of power, of recovery. And after a few weeks of taking, I suppose, the intake on board that you recommended, I just couldn't wait to eat more. Like I couldn't wait to have more carbs because I was like, I feel incredible.
It's such an easy win.
Honestly.
Like, it's such an easy win. But like you said, it's trust. It's trust, but the trust comes with noticing change.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing. And secondary to what I do in terms of giving all these numbers to people, you have to keep a journal, or you have to keep something to correlate with the increase in carbohydrate or zone 2. And I speak to people like, you are not going to need to nap. You are not going to be as irritable with your children.
Yeah.
You are not going to have as much brain fog. Your memory might be better. Your partner, your friends might start to notice you have an extra spring in your step.
Yeah.
You're happier, your skin, your hair, your nails is better. You get a better menstrual cycle. You have a better sex drive. Whatever it is, and all of a sudden you're thinking, just because I ate a bit more carbohydrate?
Yeah.
Or fuel in general.
And this is where I feel like we're in this world where there's like a crossover at the moment between like elite athletes or elite even recreational athletes. I heard someone use that word before and I was like, I feel like that's what a lot of people are. You know, we're not getting paid to be athletes, but we're performing like we are. And then you have the 90s babies kind of era where it was all skinny is trending. It was all like Tyra Banks, America's Next Top Model, isn't that like all of that? And I feel like there's this crossover now where a lot of these people who experienced the highly skinny trending times are now entering into high performance times of marathons, high rocks. And I just know I'm not the only one who would struggle with letting go of the skinny trending mindset into this fueling mindset. And I love seeing this shift online that is happening about fueling more and performance and true health over aesthetics. But also, I feel like the shift is at a bit of a standstill right now because on my social media, I don't know if you see this or you see it with your clients at all, everyone's saying that like skinny talk is trending again and that it's really dangerous and people are trying to look slim again. Do you find that many of your clients coming in put body image to the side and they're not thinking about it? Or do you feel you see people that have a bit of a struggle as well?
We've such a wide variety of clients.
Yeah.
You've late 20s, 30s, early 40s females in Ireland are the ones that struggle mostly because of what you've just said. Trusting calories are your friend, trusting that carbohydrate is going to make you feel better. And it's just the constant wins that we get.
Yeah.
Like the constant feedback that we get. I cannot believe how good I feel.
And let me be the one to tell you guys that is going to happen. If you're training for a half marathon or marathon or whatever it is, I just can't recommend enough doing a test like this with Seán or in Health Matters to just get the guidance on how much carbohydrates you should be taking into fuel or training.
But it's even it's the overall caloric range. It's mixing both and understanding that the fuel to drive the car, the petrol, the oil, what do we need to do to get it to make you... But the trust, the data is in front of you. It's the trust you're putting in me and my team and our delivery of information. But you will notice that your training improves.
Yeah.
Like I've had one fella, I always talk about this fella and he's a friend of mine, but I won't tell you his name. And 2 years ago, he reached out to me and he's like, Seán, I need to go and get my bloods done. Can you organise it for me? Blah, blah. And I was like, whoa, let's kind of strip it back here. What's the problem? And he's like, oh, I feel so tired, you know, I've no energy, my mood is poor, it's affecting my relationship, everything going on. And I was like, well, let's look at what time you eat at, let's look at what time you train at. So he's getting up every day to train at 5. So his training was at 5. It was at high intensity training and was fasted.
Red flags.
And all I said was, right, let's get a bit of carbohydrate in the morning, so eat the carbs late at night.
Yeah.
Let's sacrifice at least 2 or 3 of them sessions at 5 o'clock for a bit more sleep, and let's bring in some low intensity training. She's just hit
New
PB
man.
after PB after PB. They've just welcomed their second child into the world.
Oh.
You know, like if you look at the snowball effect of what it's doing, and he now laughs every time he sees me. He'll bring me like a bottle of Lucozade or something, just as a mess.
love
Just a couple of my
that.
clients bring me carbohydrate drinks when they come into me because they literally say it changed them overnight.
Well, I don't have a carbohydrate drink for you today, but I did get a slice of banana bread
Perfect.
from my favourite little cafe in the
I'll
town.
eat that 100%.
So you can have that on my own. But come here, you said something there that kind of resonated with me when you were like, he's getting PB after PB after PB after PB now. And I literally went on my Instagram stories recently and I was like, guys, the penny's literally dropping with me right now, Seán. I went on stories and I was like, I don't know what's going on in my body, but I have been hitting PB after PB after PB. And I was like, I'm not trying to say this in a big-headed way or an egotistical way. And I explained how it was like, I think it's opened my eyes up to consistency and training over a period of years now and being up and down with injuries and stuff. And it's finally all paying off. And I was like, I just don't want anyone to compare my race paces to your everyday run pace, because yes, my 5k PB, I hit 20 minutes, 33 seconds.
Lovely.
But thanks to Max, he was like pacing me. But my everyday 5k is 30
Thanks
minutes.
for the carbohydrate.
But genuinely, now you're saying all this, I'm like, do you know what? I don't think it's actually down to, yes, consistency obviously in your training, but it's equally having so much more carbs since I sat down and had a chat with you that day and doing more zone 2 training.
Yeah, but like it's so we educate you, you go and apply
Yeah.
it, and the results follow. But like you mentioned, you're more consistent.
Yeah.
You're more consistent because you're fueled better.
It's the fueling.
You're more consistent because you build a better base because you do more zone 2.
Butterfly effect.
Yes, you're more consistent because your foundation is more robust. You have developed better mitochondria. Your
Yeah.
training load is better. So you would have probably ran hard, injury, fatigue, not
Yeah.
quality. Now you're going hard, easy, hard, easy, hard. So everything's just trending the whole time. So you're more consistent, less risk of injury, better fueling, better recovery.
Life changing.
PBs.
I love it.
You know,
I love it,
and that's what it
yeah.
is. And when you sit back and look at it and the trust of the fuel, and it's more female than it isn't, time and time again, I like, what do you eat? We go in, we speak to someone, what are you eating?
Yeah.
And I'm eating 2,000 calories. I'm like, you're eating 2,000 calories? You just told me you're a nurse that does
However
4
many
12-hour
steps.
shifts. You have
Yeah.
3 kids and you're telling me you want to compete. And this woman I'm thinking of wants to compete at a really high level of CrossFit.
Okay.
And I asked her to eat, I can't remember exact numbers, but I asked her to eat an extra 800 calories, right? And she was like, absolutely no way, Seán, I can't do it. I was like, I don't want to do it today, but let's try and bring it in
This
over the
is
next
the
couple of
definition
weeks.
of that fear, but also the want.
Yeah.
The fear to eat more, the want to perform better.
And I was like, just stay in contact with me. So just drop me a voice now on
Wow.
Instagram. Just keep telling me what's happening. Because if you're interested, I'll stay interested. And then she was like, I can't believe what's going on.
She did
I
start
ca-
having more fuel.
Yeah, and she's leaner than she's ever been. She's stronger than she's ever been.
Yeah.
She's more energy she's ever been. And she's achieving results in the sport where she's podium and winning a lot of events now.
Yeah.
And she was just the fear of fueling.
Yeah.
But without the fuel, you can't drive the car. So if you're someone that's lifting, training to lift, and they're stagnating in their lifts,
Yeah.
high possibility you're underfueled.
Yeah. It's so true. Like even before, I compare half marathons before Seán Kinane and my half marathons after Seán Kinane. But when I started having more gels and had like that meal before the race was different to what I used to be having, the difference in performance blew my mind. Like before the VHI Women's Mini Marathon, I had, now with banana and honey and a bit of peanut butter on the first set, I had like 6 slices of Brennan sliced pan, white. There is no way I would have touched white sliced pan years ago. But again, this is sports nutrition. But I got a sub 45.
I'm going to give out for peanut butter though.
But see, that was just in the morning.
Okay,
It was really early. That was like 7. The race was at 12:30.
So anyone wondering why, reduce fat, fibre and spice before any long run.
Yeah,
48 hours prior.
So this was one of my biggest struggles after leaving you, was that obviously we were speaking about how important the carbohydrates were. But I am actually someone who loves fats. So I love my dark chocolate. I love peanut butter. I love seeds. And I suppose it was a bit of a sacrifice. Like the night before a long run, I could hear Seán in my head telling me he had white rice, chicken goujons and sweet chilli sauce. So I went out and I bought white rice,
lovely.
chicken goujons, sweet chilli. And it was lovely. But afterwards I was like, I'm dying for dark chocolate, like a bit of peanut butter in the morning before the long run. The Frosties were lovely, but I was like, I'm dying for a bit of peanut butter. Like I just crave the fats.
Yeah, but remember it's collective, it's overall volume.
But if I had them, which 1 or 2 mornings or evenings, say before those long runs in the marathon training block, I would have had them thinking I'll be fine. My stomach was not fine because obviously you just can't digest it.
Yeah, see, like a lot of people blame the gels, or a lot of people blame carbohydrate sources for their digestive discomfort or the need to go to the toilet when they're out running, when realistically it's the fat, fibre, spice that has been consumed the 48 hours leading into it.
Spice too, yeah.
So I'm really, really strict on it. Like, really strict.
And when you were that strict in how you spoke about it, the first time we went up there, the only time we went up there, I was kind of like, sure, it'll be grand. Throwing a little bit of
But when you look at
extra
fat,
there.
people don't think fat is pesto. People don't think fat is peanut butter. People don't think fat is
Olive oil
mayonnaise,
when they're cooking.
mince, steak, olive oil, carbonaras. When you strip it all back, people are like, what am I going to eat? Eat chicken and rice with a bit of sweet. I know sweet chilli is a bit of spice, but it has more sugar in it
More
than spice.
sugar, yeah.
But looking at it, and like I used to wreck my wife's head. She was like, oh, what, you long run on Sunday? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, what are we doing for dinner? And I was like, I'm not eating that. And she's like, well, make your own dinner. So I would always prep my own stuff.
Yeah.
Take nothing away. I'm not saying my wife
Yeah,
didn't prep for me.
yeah.
But I would be like, look, I'll look after my food for the 48 hours into my long run. And people might think, oh, look, it's a bit obsessive or anything like that. Never once in my whole endurance running career, not that I have one, have I ever had any stomach journey.
Yeah.
Have I ever had any stomach issues ever?
Yeah.
And
it
I
pays off.
put a lot of that down to my window of awareness.
Yeah.
It's a nice
Window
phrase.
of awareness.
Just
That's
made it up on the
beautiful.
spot.
Keep that. Can we take down a list here, Ash, of all the
Window of awareness in regards to fueling. So making sure that my carbs are high, making sure my fats, fibre and spice is low.
Yeah.
And going and embracing and enjoying the utilisation of carbohydrate.
Yeah, and it is incredible then when you're out running it. It feels so good. Okay, I feel like we've covered a lot of VO2 max, metabolic testing, fueling for running. I just have, before we go on to kind of some trending questions, I wanted to ask you one more thing about heart rate zones. Do you think a lot of people are training in the wrong heart rate zones?
It's a whole episode on its own. I haven't even touched on heart rate zones. Right, so heart rate zones are a massive problem.
Yeah.
If the zone is made up from an algorithm, it's wrong. If the zone is made up from your watch, it's wrong. If the zone is made up using ChatGPT, it's wrong. Heart rate zones are very, very, very individual. Just because someone is the same age, height, weight and sex as you doesn't mean they have the same heart rate. You and your brother don't have the same heart rate. You and your sister don't have the same heart rate. It's such an individual thing with hundreds and thousands of contributing factors to your heart rate. I probably told you and Max when you were up with my son and daughter. They will have completely different heart rates for the rest of their life. My daughter was an emergency C-section. She was brought into the world in trauma. Her heart rate is higher than my son's, who was natural delivery.
I have told that to so many people because my heart rate came up so much higher than kind of average when we did our test that I explained it to so many people. Like did you think so?
When you said higher than average, I'm not concerned about it, but yeah, it is higher than average.
Do you know? But I think that's because, so it's no secret to people following me. I'm an ambassador with Polar.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the Polar Street X at the minute. I absolutely love it. And ever since getting into fitness, regardless of the roller coaster ride I had with fueling, heart rate zones and zone 2 training was always something I was really clued in on. And probably from wearing my watch and looking at Polar's social media, I understood that it was really important. However, going through a period where I was kind of addicted to the high intensity years and years ago. So obviously every watch, every brand out there, they can only do so much when it comes to estimating what your heart rate zone might be given your age, weight, height and
gender.
Everything you put into it, gender. And that's fine. But like you said, for some people, it can be so different. And when I did my test with you, I'm actually still shocked as to how different my heart rate zones were compared to what was inbuilt in my watch. Now, what is so fantastic about Polar, not to big them up here,
Keep
hashtag
picking them up. I
ambassador.
use them. I have
Yeah.
always.
They're the OG heart rate
Yeah.
monitors. But the watch, like within the Polar Flow app, there's a feature where you can change the heart rate zones to being specifically what you have been told they are, which is probably a small percentage of Polar or smartwatch users that actually have gone and done a test like this to be told what their heart rate zones are, but you can change it. So when I changed it on my watch, oh my God, training for me was a totally different ball game because my heart rate zones were actually way higher. And even, I'm sure they won't mind me saying this, after, was it the half marathon I did in Nice where I got 1:38 through something, murdered myself.
I remember
actually,
you telling me. Yeah.
I sent Sean a message after that. I was like, I'm
Is
a
this
little bit
right?
concerned. My heart rate was so high, but I did nearly feel unwell. I pushed myself so incredibly hard for that. But I think even when they saw clips of the watch, they were like, that doesn't look right. And I don't think you could be with your heart rate that high for so long. And your zone 2 probably isn't that high. But I actually got back to them and I was like, look, I'm attaching the results of my test. Here's who I went to. I linked your website. I was like, we actually did a test that is like 98% accuracy. Am I right in saying
Yeah,
that?
but the identification of zones, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I was like, I've actually changed my zones, because they were like, maybe there's a fault in the watch, something doesn't look right, and I was like, no, I actually changed them based off test results, and they were like, okay, you're on the ball, fair play, so that was fine. But even I can't understand how my zone 2 is. Do we have it in front of us there?
155 to 172.
172. So here I
Top of
am.
your threshold, yeah. Or
When I
top of
was-
zone 2.
When I was trying to do my zone 2 training, I was looking at my watch and I was like, right, stay below 133 or whatever it was. Sure, wasn't even
So
in.
this is the problem.
Yeah.
We and I have been an advocate of heart rate training zones for 15 years in Ireland, and you'll always get up against the people that will say heart rate training doesn't work. I have to walk in my zone 2. That's not the real zone 2. It's an algorithm. It's a zone that's made up based on a generalized formula that is inaccurate and not specific to them.
It's the best they can do, like in an algorithm and with software. But to go and do a test like this and change it to be your own heart rate zones for someone who is quite serious about their training.
I think that's the biggest
Game
feedback
changer.
we get.
Really?
Yeah, like it's like they know that that's not their real zone 2, but it's like it's a weight lifted off someone's shoulders.
Yeah.
You can see the joy in someone's face when I say, there's your real zone 2.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow.
You know, I was not finding that joyful
I
because I had to push so much.
had a
hard.
guy yesterday and he'd done a retest. He tested with us last year and he had moved his zones up 10 beats. So he'd gone from a high zone 2 of 151, it was now 162. And
Stop.
he said
But he got fitter.
he got fitter, yeah. He got way fitter in
That
all
confuses
aspects.
me, Sean, because is your heart rate not getting lower and you're getting fitter?
Okay, so his VO2 didn't go up.
Right.
So his VO2 didn't go up. His length of test went up. His max heart rate came down.
This is so confusing.
His recovery improved, but his ability to create energy aerobically went up. So his threshold increased in heart rate and in pace. So sometimes people's heart rate can come down and their pace can go up. This fella's heart rate went up with his speed.
Okay, so that's not a red flag in any way.
No.
Yeah.
And he said, he was like, I really feel like I'm absolutely coasting in the 150s. 150, and he was.
Yeah.
You know, so zones are very specific to you as an individual. Me and my brother have two completely different zones. We share parents. His heart rate's about 50 beats higher than mine.
Stop.
Yeah. He's been a competitive butterfly swimmer all his life. He does 100 and 200 meter efforts.
Wow.
While I would have done a lot more of endurance. But remember, let's strip it way back. When you're in the womb,
We're really going way
what's
back.
going on is when, like, the influence back then is influencing your heart rate.
That blows my mind, and actually kind of gives me a bit of fear for, like, if I ever become a mom.
Yeah.
Those few months, the birth, those first few days, really can affect so much.
Yeah, but like it's again, we're learning a lot more now. But when you're in the womb, drink, drugs, stress. Like, what's the environment you're in? Is there exercise?
Yeah.
Are you, like, obviously we've moved a lot on
Yeah.
in terms of even think about pregnant women being around in a pub where people are smoking,
Yeah.
or in a car people are
So
smoking,
true.
you know, or even the awareness around smoking. Simple things like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it is going to affect your heart rate. But your heart rate is individual. Your heart rate is specific to you. And one of the mistakes I find people make is training partners. There might be a group of men or a group of women. I'm not picking on women, but they tend to ask more questions about it than men in terms of why is her heart rate like that and my heart rate like this?
Yeah.
Or why can't I get my heart rate to where her heart rate is? Who cares?
Yeah.
We need to stop. Comparison's the killer of all joy. Comparison's the killer of performance in exercise. When people start to chase other people's heart rate. If you're both running, I'm making these numbers up right now. If you're both running a 6-minute kilometre and your heart rate's 141 and your friend's heart rate's 162, who cares?
I love that. I
That's
feel
it.
like people need to take more heed of that in the training year we're in.
But that's it. I have a really low heart rate. My max heart rate's like 158, 159.
Stop.
Okay, so let's say me and you go for a run, right?
But mine was actually higher than what that said.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this, right? So let's say me and you go for a run. If we go for a 5-minute kilometre run, right?
Yeah.
Your heart rate's going to be 183. I could run a 5-minute kilometre pace at 130. You would be walking at 130.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything other than that we've completely different heart rates. You're preset to have a higher heart rate than I am.
Whereas before going to you, I was like, does this mean I'm unfit?
No.
That's where I think there's a big misconception.
Now, what we would probably find with you, and I would put, I'm not a betting man, but I'd bet on this. I would imagine what will happen when we retest you is that your zones will have come down because you've done a lot more aerobic conditioning
Yes.
within your capacity.
Yeah.
So you've become significantly more efficient. So if we can increase the amount of oxygenated blood that leaves your heart, your overall heart rates will come back down. So you're probably finding now you're running faster, but you're not in them zones anymore. You probably have a lower.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, so you probably have a lower average heart rate. So people come into us and they're like, I just can't get my heart rate up there anymore. I'm losing my fitness. I'm like, well, how's all your events? Oh, PBing, everything, feel great. Because you've become so much more efficient at using oxygen. So your heart rate's coming down.
Okay.
So for people that have higher heart rates,
That's really interesting.
that is a change that can occur.
Definitely we'll have to get back in soon for another
Let's do it.
test. Right, question for you. Now, this is kind of veering off from all of the science and just getting your opinion on
Is this my opinion?
different bits. Yeah, your
Only my opinion.
So running has obviously exploded over the last 3 years on social media. Like London Marathon just announced they're doing
seen
2
that.
days, which I actually think is bonkers.
I think it's greedy.
Yeah, I
It's my opinion.
everyone seems really happy about it.
I can understand, but does it take it away?
I think it does.
You
Like
are
for
you
me,
doing London 1 or London 2?
one day, that's the big day, the big moment, the atmosphere. And I just think to split that over 2 days, I don't know. For me,
Could work really well though.
it's going to work really
Yeah.
well, Sean. I think it will because there's so many people that have obviously applied to do it this year. But do you think running has become more about performance than health? Because when I go online now,
No.
everyone is chasing PBs, and I feel hypocritical for saying that because I'm someone who's got more PBs recently. But are we actually healthier or are we fitter and ignoring our bodies?
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think there's still a lot of people that don't care about the results.
That's true.
There really is, you know, and I know some really good runners. And one of the things that winds him up most is when people ask him what time he got. He goes, I just went to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter what time I got. You know, yes, we're driven. And I think society praise is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was
Yeah.
training for the marathon, people would be constantly asking me, well, why am I not putting it up on Strava? I'm like, because it's none of your business. Like.
Yeah.
So have we lost it? Probably. Is it a positive focus? Maybe, because it adds a bit of better structure into your training. But I honestly, the cohort of people that I'm dealing with, I don't believe that the health aspect has been lost.
Forgotten. Okay.
No.
I love that.
Maybe it's not as highlighted as it should be, the positive effect that they're creating
Yeah.
for the rest of their life by doing what they're doing. They enjoy it. There's a lot of social aspect to running in these great running clubs that are set up now where people are meeting up 2-3 times a week that would have never done anything.
Yeah.
We've worked with a load of them recently. We were with Cherry Orchard, we were with Kingswood, we were with Clondalkin Flyers, with the Artown Bowmount. Like, these clubs are fantastic at doing what they're doing to create the awareness on getting a group and the social aspect of performance going.
Yeah.
Yes, they probably do seek the goal, the personal goal, but health comes with it.
It's good to have a goal. Yeah. No, I love that. That was great. Right, next one for you. Do you think too many people are signing up for marathons before building the foundations or understanding what it takes to build that foundation?
Without question. Are too many people doing anything in performance without looking at what's needed? I play devil's advocate. I strip everything back for people. And I'm very honest, and I'm very critical when I need, critical is the wrong word. I'm very honest in regards to telling someone, look, you're not going to do what you want to do. Prove me wrong by all means, but I think you're probably 10 to 12 weeks ahead of where you need to be. So people come in and have an event very soon, and I'm like, look, I think people don't give themselves enough time.
Okay. Is there almost a pressure now that if you're into fitness, you have to run?
No.
You don't see that?
No, definitely not.
I think I really want to ask you these questions because online I see a different side to what you would see working with such a different, I suppose, cohort of people that wouldn't necessarily be posting things online. The people that post so much about their fitness online are the people who probably are that other side of it, which might be forgetting about health. Do you know what I mean? So it's interesting to
like the reel I did one yesterday. It's going to be way back now. So I did a reel recently on the effects of exercise, and my phone, I put it up late last night. It's just me in my car, just talking about getting out and moving, and the amount of people that have sent me, mates of mine, I haven't even opened them before coming in. I seen them come in and go, they're like, oh my God, Seán, your reel last night's really hit me.
Needed to
you know
hear
what I mean? I need to go and do something. Or talking about your parents. Like, it was the parents thing that got me to go out and move a bit more. I don't know how I got onto that point. Is the pressure to run? No, I don't think so. The pressure is to move. I've recently looked at getting a stationary bike in the house, just because I'll be at home more in the environment with the kids, rather than having to go out and going running. I remember the kids were going, where are you going? I'm going out for a 3-hour run. Now, I used to get up before anybody was awake in the house, and I'd be gone. And I'd be coming back just when they were getting up. Yeah. But even to get a home trainer into the house, I think it's a brilliant bit of equipment that you can get. A lot of times they become close horses though. So if you get a stationary bike, use it.
There has to be a rule against, like, don't make it become a close horse. Max actually got one of those recently, and it's linked to, is it like Swifter? Swifter or something? Yeah. It's an unbelievable program. Swift, that's it. Yeah. Oh, so I'm mixing up with the Irish brand Swifter here. Yeah. Okay, another one for you. Do you think recovery has almost become a trend rather than an understood metric?
In regards to ice baths and stuff?
Yeah, saunas, ice baths, all that.
Yes, unquestionable.
Yeah.
Is the scientific data there to back it up? But the one thing I will say, and I'm strong on placebo, if it makes you feel better and you think it makes you feel better, go for it.
And I think more so than the recovery side of things, all of the sauna locations, ice baths, all of that opening up around the country, it's the social element that people walk away from it feeling better. Obviously, most of them have like silent sessions as well. And sometimes people need that because they're in a chaotic environment every other hour of the day. So I agree with you there. I think it looks like something that's trendy for recovery, but I think it's more so...
There is definitely studies on them. Like the sauna stuff is unbelievable.
Absolutely. I wish I had one at home.
The ice baths, I'll wait for more study to come out. I think more bad can be, not bad, but I think they were maybe overused. Now look, when I was injured leading into Dublin, I used them a lot. I felt it really helped me. Yeah. I haven't used them since. Yeah. I got into one recently, I got straight back out of it.
It's funny, you lose the conditioning to it. The resilience, that's the word. Yeah.
I got in. So West Park Fitness have a permanently chilled one, and I got with a friend of mine, and I got so much stick off them. A few of us went in, and I literally couldn't last like seconds in it. And they all gave me stick. And then over the weeks and months leading in, I would end up people like, you have to do a minimum of 3 minutes. Yeah. So I do 3, 4, 5. I built it up to 6, where I would just be so cold I'd have to get out. And I said, look, I've lost the point of this. Yeah. And then the other day I got back in, and I honestly 20 seconds I jumped out.
It's crazy. Like, wow. But next time you'll get 30 seconds.
Yeah,
and that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I already know what your answer to this I think is going to be. What's the biggest mistake runners make when it comes to nutrition?
They don't fuel enough. They don't prioritise. Yeah. They don't think about it. And the faster you want to get, the more, like, we can look at it from a perspective of any time. But I think if anyone's listening to this that's looking for a 3-hour marathon, I think go from like a 3:10, 3:15 down to a sub 3. Like, carbohydrate is unbelievable as a priority. But I just don't think runners prioritise. Like, you go out and drop €150 on a pair of runners, but you won't eat before you run.
That's so true, actually.
You know what I mean?
You drop 300 on a pair of runners.
Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Your wins are much quicker to achieve with performance with thinking about your food than getting new runners. Yeah. Thinking about your food and getting a gait analysis. Thinking about your food and getting the most trendy shorts or wearables. Just think about your fuel a bit better.
That's so true. Bring it back to the basics. What about carbon plated runners, out of interest, since we're on that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm going to stay in my lane on that one. People come in and they're like, will I wear my carbons to do the VO2? I'm like, look, I do not have a clue.
Yeah.
Do whatever you're most comfortable to do.
Oh, that maybe next time I go, I'll wear my carbons just to see. Right, we're nearly on to our final few questions, Seán. If someone listening doesn't care about running, okay, but simply wants more energy, what's the first thing you would tell them?
Sleep.
Sleep. I love it.
How much sleep have you got?
Yeah.
Like, I had a guy in, I blown my mind. Rarely now I'm stuck. I'm in the game so long. I had a fella in recently enough and he sleeps 3 hours a night.
No.
3 hours a night. And he was convinced there's nothing he can do to get more. And I was like, look.
Well, can you say why? Like, was it work? Was it family? Was it just his head racing?
All three.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't say head racing. Just, he has slept for 3 hours a night since he was 14 years of age because of the line of work that he's got involved in and has stayed involved in terms of up incredibly early to service a particular, I don't know what I'd say, industry.
Yeah.
And then life's carried on. And I'm like, you need to get your sleep back.
That's so bad for your health long term.
It's incredible when you look at the studies on it. So if you want more energy, I think sleep. Your meal timing is important, or your overall caloric range. So I think a lot of people go massive periods of time of not eating and then overeat. So in them massive periods of time.
They do, and I feel like it's like boasted about then, which drives me absolutely wrong. When someone says, oh, it's like 3 o'clock and I actually haven't eaten yet today. I'm like, don't sing a song about that.
Yeah. Can't drive a car, no petrol.
No, exactly.
You know, so yeah, I think energy, sleep, fuel, meal timing.
They're all the most important kind of metrics. Right, Seán, we're obviously on Shake the Ground. So I ask every guest to give me a ground shaking confession, which is like a little bit more individual. It can be something so simple, or it might be something mega to do with your business or a decision you made when you were like 18. Confess to us something you've done that really shook things up in your life.
Done or doing?
Either or.
Because I have a big announcement coming this week.
Do you want to give it to us?
No. I can't, because it's not. But there's a second facility for Health Matters about to be announced this week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
by the time this comes out, it probably will be
It will be announced.
announced.
It will be out.
Yeah, so we'll see it on your page.
So it's been taking a lot of negotiation, but we are going to be going to a second facility to carry out full-time testing.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That is a mega business
massive.
move.
Yeah, massive.
Ground shaking shift for sure.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So, yeah, more machinery, more staff, but it's an opportunity.
Do we get like a hint? Are we talking Dublin? Are we talking?
It is Dublin. Yeah,
it's Dublin. Okay.
Yeah, it's Dublin.
Nice.
But it's in a very, very forward-thinking clinic around probably longevity and performance.
Amazing. So it's all going to link in really well.
Yeah, it's massive. Like,
oh, I'm delighted for you. That's incredible.
That will be groundbreaking when I release it.
Yes, yeah.
I only confirmed it on Saturday.
Oh, fantastic! You must be like on a bit of a high then.
Yeah, but there's a lot of
a lot of work involved.
I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I love what I do.
Yeah, and you can see that, like that radiates from you when you're talking about it, and I think that's why I was like, Seán would be the perfect man to get on to speak all things running, kind of fitness, and how to fuel and go about all that. And I'm so glad we did.
But even stripping it back, it's another part. Going from one machine to two, going from 2 machines to 3. Like I've 6 units now.
Yeah.
You know, so stepping up and going to the next level.
Each step up was shaking the ground.
Yeah, and then each like going with like the health insurance companies, getting in with our big corporate clients. You know, little things like that. And obviously, I'm very honest. I wouldn't say outspoken, but I'm strong in my beliefs in terms of what I say and what I do, and it can be groundbreaking for people when they apply the data.
Yeah,
you know
no, for sure. But like it was for me, and I said at the beginning, it really switched up so much in my life for me after going to see you with the stage I was at with my training, I guess. Okay, we're going to finish off with a quick fire. So, well, it's supposed to be quick fire. I have a feeling we might go into some of these. You might say not my area. Some you might want to elaborate on. Most overrated supplement.
Overrated supplement. Peptides. If they're supplements.
They're not good for runner's knee now.
Ah, sure, look, the studies on them are inconclusive, aren't they?
Placebo.
Placebo, yeah, if they're placebo. It's
Yeah.
overrated, yeah.
Most underrated.
Oh, hang on, electrolytes.
Electrolytes.
Yeah,
We could have another episode about this.
electrolytes.
Just add a bit of salt to your water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you're not someone that's going out doing astronomical amounts of exercise, do you need them?
No, because you only piss them out, don't
Exactly.
you? Does it put stress on your kidneys then? Is that
You'd question that.
Mm.
Or you could even, here's it, we can go even deeper then. Most overrated supplement is protein, because are you going to just pass that out in the urine?
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong, it does serve a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of it.
But do you need as many powders and stuff as we're taking?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. Most underrated
You know the
supplement.
answer to that. Creatine, probably.
Right, so I do and I don't. I bought creatine weeks ago and I look at it every morning and I still haven't started taking it.
I'm a massive fan of it and have for years. I take it every day. I give it to my parents. I give it to my kids.
Can that put stress on your kidneys?
No, I think the research on it, like, it's the most researched supplement
Yeah.
in the world.
I need to start.
Everybody should take it.
Yeah.
So for anyone young, cognitive development, anyone old, cognitive retention, and then anyone in between, performance, cognitive,
Yeah.
everything.
Everything.
Now, it's up to you what way you want to take it. You can eat it, you can chew it, you can put it in a drink. I just dry
I need
neck
that
it.
bit. One of my questions was actually, is creatine for everyone? So you've
I
answered that.
believe.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Caffeine before exercise. Is it an essential?
Essential? No. Is it a habit? Yes. Does it make you feel better? Yeah, probably. I think the problem with creatine pre-exercise, it's done wrong. You need
Yeah.
to do it about an hour
Caffeine,
prior. Caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did I say?
Creatine.
Sorry, caffeine. Yeah, caffeine. Like, you see people drinking cans of caffeinated drink in the gym.
Oh, I've spoke about that
That
before.
should be drank.
Does my nut in.
It should be done.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Caffeine's only hitting your system when you're walking out of the gym.
And remember, caffeine isn't an energy producer. Caffeine reduces fatigue symptoms or awareness. So your body suppresses the fact that you're tired. It doesn't create energy.
Oh, wow.
So
I
that's
love
the
that.
biggest factor on caffeine.
That's a viewpoint I've never heard on
Yeah,
caffeine
so it doesn't
before.
give you energy. It suppresses
Yeah.
the fatigue.
So all you energy drinkers in the gym, take heed of that.
Yeah, so make sure, like, all day, every day when I'm testing, I just hear the can
Yeah.
open and I'm like, you should have drank that before you got to the gym.
Yeah, no, that does drive
I
me
would
wrong.
be creatine an hour prior to training. If you are someone that's drinking a caffeinated drink, get it in then as well.
Yeah, okay. One fitness trend you hope disappears.
Oof, none. They're all
They're all good.
have a positive
Yeah.
impact.
Uh,
Trend though, like, I don't know, some of the stuff people do is wild, isn't it? I
Yeah.
think they're all positive though. Like,
it's all
trends,
part of the jigsaw.
yeah.
like, isn't it?
And
You
I
have to
think
fit in
each to
what
their
you
own
think.
as well. And that's
Yeah.
something that I think we probably should. Well, it is something that we say, like, just because someone does something that's trendy doesn't mean you have to do it.
Yeah,
Exercise. I do a program in schools. We do a lot with girls' schools. 4-class girls is the biggest age dropout in all performance because they're developing. They don't want to get changed in front
Yeah.
of their peers. They're conscious of moving parts, and we try and create an awareness that the sport that the world pushes you to do isn't the sport that you have to do.
I
There
absolutely
is
love this.
so many different types of movement and exercise. Do you want to go to be a canoeist? Do you want to be a gymnast? Do you want to go and do karate? Do you want to play football? Do you want to play basketball?
I love that.
Table tennis, whatever you want. You know,
We had a chat with, was it Kieran Corrigan on his episode where we said, like, he felt not being part of the GAA when he was young, and I felt this too. Like, I felt left out as a result
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't going to the training in the evenings. I wasn't leaving school to go to the match with everyone else because I was no good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It wasn't for me. But had we have been put through more types of sports or
Yeah.
had our eyes open to that, like even running, if there was more running, that would have been my sport.
Same
But
here.
all that was in school was GAA.
GAA.
Now, a bit of basketball, but that wasn't even like my thing. Do you know? So I
Mm.
love that. That's so powerful that
Yeah.
you're doing that. Biggest waste of money in fitness.
Gym memberships that aren't used.
Oh,
I
I
know.
wasn't expecting that.
So
trend.
go back to the story of my friend that texted me to say that they must start to exercise. She's also in the message. I just pulled it down, had a look at it. She said she's still paying her gym membership because she's convincing herself that she'll get back to it. I'm going to ring her on the way back.
Do
Jen, if you're listening to this, you're getting a call.
like there's so much you can do from home.
Yeah.
I started off my fitness journey at home.
Yeah.
Took me weeks and weeks and weeks before I set foot in a gym.
Yeah, gym memberships that aren't used.
Yeah, love that. One thing everyone should start doing tomorrow.
Exercise.
Yeah, I love it.
Just look, it's a great time of year. I love this
It
time of
is.
year for talking about this conversation. Not that we live in this absolutely amazing country that's going to be dry for the next 3 months, but you don't melt in the rain. When my son was 6, he told me that one day. I woke him up to bring him for a run. He wanted to come for a run with me in Tymon Park. I woke him up about 6:30 in the morning. It was raining. I said, Jake, do you want to come running? But it's raining, son. He goes, Daddy, I don't melt. I said, right, let's go.
Oh my God.
So the journey to start some form of exercise.
Oh, that's just the cutest thing
Yeah,
ever.
I don't melt. Put his bike on, put a rain jacket on.
But look at the influence you have, like leading by example.
Sure, he
That's
runs. He did
powerful.
a 8K duathlon with me the other day. 4K
What
on
age
his
is he
bike,
now?
10.
Oh
4K on his bike, 4K run. Yeah. So
Oh my
we ran by our
God.
estate and my wife and daughter were outside to give him his bike, gave him a drink, and we went and he did a 4K on his bike then as well.
Family
He did that at
goals.
9. He did it at 9 actually.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
incredible. That is
Um,
incredible.
So, yeah, I think just starting.
Yeah.
Don't put the bar too high.
Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's
Yeah,
chapter 20.
just start small. Aim small, miss small.
Sean, that was such a brilliant conversation.
Thank you.
I know we could have got into the nitty gritty
Yeah,
of
no,
the
but
science
yeah.
in so many more
No, you
areas.
lose a lot
but
then.
You do. Come here, if people want to find you online, where can they do so?
Instagram, the VO2 fella is my handle.
Handle.
Or myhealthmatters.ie is our website.
If someone did want to book in, is the website the best place to go or to call up?
Both. So the website has the booking link.
Yeah.
Instagram has the booking link as well.
Oh, Instagram has it too.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
so it's in our bio.
Yeah.
But look, when you talk to the VO2 fella on Instagram, it's me.
Yeah.
There's no bot. There's no one behind the scenes.
I love that.
I deal with all the messages that come in to both the email and to the Instagram. That's not going to change.
Fantastic.
I have to have that control.
No matter how big.
But
You'd be regretting saying that when you have 1 million followers now.
No, I won't. But you know what? Recently, I outbound to everyone. So I
Okay,
send
yeah.
everybody a personal message. Every single person that follows me, I send them a message directly from me with their name on it.
I love that.
And the other day, like my followers are going up and up and up, and I
Yeah.
said to Keelan, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to keep up with this. You know, like I can.
I know, yeah.
Like
I've stopped
Mm.
and always struggle with it mentally, but I just have stopped keeping up with them. But I cannot hand it over to anyone else
No.
because it doesn't feel right.
No, but even like a voice note, I send voice notes a lot.
Me too.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't know if this is your cup of tea. But
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
For sure. Look, and people are like, what? But I think it's great though. It
Yeah.
does a lot. It makes
Yeah.
people feel.
It shows
and-
how
and that's-
passionate you are about what
and
you
that's
do.
what I am. It makes people feel, wow. Amount of people that said I would never have sent you a message if you didn't send me a message. Thanks.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Can I come in or whatever?
But you know what? Also, like I know you love what you do because you love helping people, but I was told this line before in business and I think it's so true. People buy people.
Oh, people by people first.
It's not products. Yeah. And it is. It's completely down to that.
That's where we don't even have to put this in because it's kind of conversation. But that's where the brand I'm trying to develop now is my brand.
Yeah.
Like I want to go international as Seán. I've the VO2 fella. But if you went onto my page 2 weeks ago, my name wasn't even on it.
I know, I think that's so smart. Like someone told me years ago, change your Instagram handle to your name because
Yeah.
it used to be Nathalie. It like wasn't my proper name, and it just helps people connect with you as a
Yeah,
person so
absolutely.
much more. Seán, thanks so much, guys. Before we finish up, I want to take a moment to thank our partners at Amplify Media. Working with people who really get what you're trying to create makes all the difference. And Amplify don't just produce podcasts; they help you build something that lasts. So if you've been thinking about starting up your own show or taking yours up a notch, check them out at amplify.ie. And lastly, I want to thank you for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd really appreciate it if you could follow the podcast and leave a rating or review wherever you're listening, because that is what genuinely helps more people discover these conversations. I know we all listen, throw the phone away, get out in the car, but if you could take 2 seconds to do that, I would really appreciate it. And if something we spoke about today resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Send us a message. You just heard Seán say he'll respond to you.
Yeah,
Send him a message. It's at the VO2 Max fella.
Just the VO2 fella.
The VO2 fella.
Yep.
Sorry, yeah. So that's where you can find Seán. And of course, we are at Shake the Ground podcast on socials now as well. Or share this episode with someone that you think needs to hear it, because I reckon there's going to be a lot of people listening going, my partner could do it here and this, my friend could do it here and this. So all we want at the end of the day is to impact someone's life positively here, and I suppose help them to shake the ground. So until next time, Seán, we'll chat to you soon. Thanks a million for being here.
Thank you very much.
Guys, keep challenging what you think you know and don't be afraid to shake the ground.